Nicole, are you there?
Yep. Hey,
Okay.
sorry.
Go ahead.
All right, guys, we're ready. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We are going to be talking about the Tower Garden by Juice Plus. So what is the Tower Garden? Karen, are you doing that or am I?
Nope, I am trying.
Okay, sorry. What is the Tower Garden? It is a vertical aeroponic growing system that uses a mix of air and water, and it uses an all-natural earth mineral growing tonic. It was developed by Tim Blank. The Tower Garden makes gardening easier. It's easy to install, easy to maintain, has no dirt and no weeds, and is less climate sensitive. So why the Tower Garden? There's been an explosive interest in gardening over the last few years. I read something recently that after World War II, 40% of the produce Americans were eating came from backyards. And about 15 years ago, that was only 0.1%. So people are starting to realize that it's more sustainable, more economical to grow their own food, and also healthier. There's also things like the locavore movement, which I had not heard of until just recently. I had heard of something called the slow food movement, where people are trying to purchase food that's grown in a smaller radius to where they live, and it's more locally grown and grown in season. So you're not transporting foods from other countries in and helping to reduce your footprint a little bit. And then it's also driven a lot by the media, which we'll get into a little later. So there's a lot of food supply problems in our present day. So we're going to talk about some of those problems. One of them is drought. So one of the reasons that the Tower Garden was created was that it can be grown anywhere. It can be grown indoors, outdoors, in your kitchen, on a patio, on a balcony. And it doesn't matter the condition of the soil where you live because it's grown in its own system and there is no soil. So here's a drought monitor that shows you the different areas of severe drought. The Tower Garden uses 90% less water than a traditional garden. So it would be safe to grow in a drought area where you're not going to be worried about water restrictions. For example, how many gallons of water does it take to grow 1 pound of lettuce? So you can grow you can grow a pound of lettuce in the Tower Garden with only 3 gallons of water. Whereas if you were growing that in a soil garden, it would take 71 gallons of water for that 1 pound of lettuce. So a lot of people are also trying to reduce their carbon footprint. The produce that we're buying is traveling 1,500 miles sometimes before it gets to your plate. That's a lot of transportation, packaging, just everything that you're contributing to just to get that food on your plate. So this is a great tool to help reduce that carbon footprint. The nutritional value of fruits and veggies is dwindling, partly because they're picked right before they're ripe, and then they're transported to you. So they're ripening on the way to you in the truck or on the shelf. A lot of times they're gassed to make them ripen quicker, and you're not getting that nutritional value that you think you're getting when you're purchasing those vegetables at the store. There's another article there that says prescribing fruits and veggies would save $100 billion in medical costs, because it's amazing what nutrition can do for your body. And if you had the proper nutrition in your body, you wouldn't need a lot of the medications that are prescribed today. The Tower Garden is clinically proven. There was a study done at the University of Mississippi, which showed that the Tower Gardens had an average of 30% higher yield than a traditional garden. The antioxidants in those vegetables was equivalent to those grown in the ground, but it took less time, less maintenance, much less land, and a lot less water. So we're going to watch a quick video on how it works.
Tower Garden's state-of-the-art aeroponic vertical garden system uses both water and air to produce more colorful, better-tasting, and incredibly nutritious fruits, vegetables, and herbs. Tower Garden has a 20-gallon reservoir at its base that stores the Tower Tonic nutrient solution. Developed by experts in plant and human nutrition, Tower Tonic Mineral Blend enables superior plant growth and better nutrition from your Tower Garden produce. The process begins once the seedlings have been placed in your tower garden. Here they will be nourished with Tower Tonic nutrient solution. Inside the reservoir is a small, low-wattage submersible pump. The pump pushes the nutrient solution up through the tower to the top. From there, the nutrient solution drips through the central tower using a special device that evenly cascades the solution over the exposed plant roots. On the journey down the tower, the nutrient solution feeds the roots and becomes highly oxygenated as it cascades gently down the reservoir. This process is continuous, providing fresh oxygen, water, and nutrients to the roots of the plants. This patented aeroponic process enables food crops to grow faster than they would in soil, so they can be harvested more often. And it makes Tower Garden the healthier, easier, smarter way to grow your produce.
Okay, last year, do you remember me showing you the Tower
Sorry,
Gardens?
guys.
We went out to Mona's place and she had all, we showed you the commercial side
Hold
home
on.
that she built. Well, the good news is,
Oh my gosh, I don't know what that is.
So this video is going to document a first.
Sorry, guys. That's funny.
So now I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story with the Tower Garden. My friend Kristen introduced me to the Tower Garden a few years ago, and I was not interested. I had always been a dirt gardener. My parents had had gardens when I was growing up. And of course, that was up north, not in Florida. And I knew that I wanted to grow my own food. So then I bought a property that was a little bit over an acre, and I planned out a garden. Then I started shopping for the building materials and decided that I needed it to be all organic. So I was looking at specific building materials that didn't have any chemicals. Then I needed organic soil. Then because it's hot in Florida, I needed water, and what kind of watering system was I going to put in? And by the time I was done, I was up into the thousands and thousands of dollars. And I really didn't know if that was going to be successful because frankly, I have a black thumb. And I would often plant things, get them going, think that, everything was great. Then life would get busy and I'd have a few days where I didn't pay attention to the garden. I'd walk out on a Saturday and everything's dead. So I finally decided, maybe the Tower Garden is a good option for me. So I purchased my first one and it was amazing. We had so much fun. My kids absolutely love growing on the Tower Garden. It's exciting to plant the seeds and get them growing, pick your own food. We got so addicted that we bought a second tower and now we have a third. So I have two outside by my pool, and then I have one inside. And we grow everything from strawberries to fruit, vegetables. We have tomatoes, cucumbers, squashes, and chard. And then on the inside tower, we have mostly lettuces because I eat salad every day. So as you can see those pictures, there's some strawberries there, and it's been a great journey and so easy. And I don't kill my plants anymore, which is great. So now I'm going to turn it over to my friend Kristen so she can tell you more about the Tower Garden.
Wow, Nicole, you are such an amazing gardener. I can't believe you have a black thumb. So just like Nicole said, you can grow so many things on the Tower Garden. You can basically grow everything you see on here. And I know it's hard to read, but just keep in mind anything that grows in the soil, with the exception of root vegetables and trees and shrubs. So let's look at the two types of tower gardens we have. Both of these can be grown inside or outside. The Tower Garden Flex is the one on your left, and that's the one I own. I have it outside my house because I live in Key West, Florida, and I have a great climate for it. We grow, I like to grow just about anything, but mostly I have lettuces and herbs. I've grown cucumbers and squash, chard spinach, kale, all sorts of things. The base is going to be a little bit bigger on the Tower Garden Flex, about 2.5 or 30 inches, 2.5 feet. And you can add lights onto this. It is as an accessory that you can purchase separately. And the Tower Garden Reservoir holds 20 gallons of water. And on the right, you have the Tower Garden Home. And this is a newer product. It's been on the market a little over a year. And it basically comes with everything you see. It has a smaller footprint, so it's about 2 feet, which means it really can fit anywhere. And that's why it works so well in the home. The wheels are included. It has the lights are also come attached, but they can be taken off if you do decide to use it outside. And this is also includes the timer, and it has a water meter that lets you know when you need to refill it. So the Tower Garden is everywhere in the news. I mean, we are seeing this in so many different places within the United States and Canada. On the left, you can see it in the San Francisco Giants baseball stadium. If anybody has ever flown through Chicago's O'Hare International Airport, you might have walked by this Tower Garden. It is between the second and third terminal, and the produce that is grown in here is actually used in the restaurants within the airport, which is really very cool. And then on the right, this is it's a restaurant rooftop garden. So really you can grow anywhere that you have sunlight, and it truly is going from Tower Garden to tabletop. So I was absolutely alarmed to find out that 1 in 7 households with families with children are food insecure, which means that people basically do not have adequate access to sufficient amounts of nutritious foods. That is just alarming to me. So I was really inspired by this man, Stephen Ritz, who is an educator in one of the lowest income parts of New York City, called in the South Bronx. And he actually noticed that the waistbands of his students were increasing, and it was creating poor performance within the classroom. So he has absolutely transformed his classroom into the only edible classroom in the world. He has brought the Tower Gardens in, and by using these as an educational tool, he has been teaching his students all about how you grow, what you do with the plants. Once you harvest them, they've been cooking with everything that they use from or grow in the Tower Garden. And he has seen attendance in his classroom go from 40% to over 90%. So this is just an incredible resource that we have in our community. And Stephen Ritz says, when you teach kids about nature, you teach them to nurture. And when we teach our kids to nurture, we as a society collectively embrace our better nature. So I have had the fortune of locking arms with a local organization called the Star of the Sea Foundation. And they are a nutritional kitchen whose goal is to teach the importance of a healthy diet through growing and preparing and serving fresh and nutritious meals to the underserved community within Key West and Monroe County. They have utilized the Tower Gardens at their facility to not only grow their own food, but use the food within their meal plans to serve fresh, nutritious meals to after school programs like the Boys and Girls Club. And they also use the Tower Gardens. They've been able to distribute them to schools within Monroe County to not only use as an educational tool within the school, but they've enabled the teachers to be able to teach their students how food is grown from seed up to plant, and then follow them up with lesson plans that can be found on the Tower Garden website to be used in conjunction with the curriculum. So Tim Blank is the creator of the Tower Garden. He grew up farming, and he became one of the leading experts on hydroponics and urban gardening. His dream was to work at Disney one day, and he got his dream. And when he did work there, he created this exhibit. Some of you may have seen it there. It's called the Future of Growing and Living with the Land exhibit. And it is just an incredible project that he has created. If you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend it. But one of his quotes, which I absolutely love, is, "Real food shouldn't be a luxury enjoyed by few, but available to everyone." So let's talk about how the Tower Garden is built to last. It is made with FDA food grade compliant plastic, which is UV stabilized, so it will not break down in the sunlight, which I can attest to that. I live in Key West, and I think we have, our sun can just absolutely bleach out anything. And I've had mine for about 6 years, and it is just as good as the day I bought it. It's free of harmful components, so you will not get any leaching from plastics into the plants. It is designed for sustainability and decades of use in mind. The Tower Garden really helps foster healthy living. It provides plant therapy and promotes a plant-rich diet. And what you see in that picture in the middle is what it comes with. So it is absolutely ready to grow when you take it out of the box. So I grew up with gardens surrounding my house. My father was an avid gardener, and we knew we could always find him in the garden if he wasn't at his job. So I have had I guess I've had the experience of growing up with fresh fruits and vegetables. I understand the importance of it. But it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of space and energy. And when you talk about how much water you have to use, like as Nicole mentioned, it is absolutely just a pull on all of the resources. So the Tower Garden, what I love most about it is that it saves so much in space and in water. So let's talk about affordability. If you're spending about $12 to $15 a week on produce in the grocery store, you are basically buying a Tower Garden. It is truly, anywhere from $50 to $80, because some of the Tower Gardens have the added accessories. And it's interest-free payments of 12 months. you can own your own tower garden in 1 year. I look at it as an investment, not a cost. So this is my story. I moved to Key West about almost 6 years ago, and I knew the importance of gardening. I wanted to show my children so that they would have appreciation for where food comes from. So when when we moved into our house, I realized, oh no, I have absolutely no earth. It's all pool and it's surrounded by a deck, and that's it. So I needed a better solution, and I found that with the tower garden. So we started growing, and literally the first time I had cucumbers. Fortunately, I only planted one plant, if you can believe that this is one plant. We had cucumbers coming out of our ears, literally. That's my youngest daughter, Maddie. And but the best part about it was we did it as a family, and my girls got to see food growing from seed all the way to plant. And they would literally pick leaves off of the plant, no matter what it was. They didn't even ask. They just were absolutely, was without thinking, this looks good, let's try this. And I didn't tell my daughter, but she was eating spinach then. She told me she hated spinach, but she loved it. So I just absolutely, I love how it has transformed our family's thinking about food. And if you've never tried spinach or kale or lettuce from a tower garden, you absolutely should, because it is amazing. So Karen, tell us about your tower garden.
Thanks, Kristen. Oh my gosh. So I love that both of you guys grew up with gardens. I did not really grow up with a garden. Well, I guess I should say we lived in suburbia, and at one point, I don't know where I got the bug, but I just started tearing up the backyard and I started planting some stuff, and my father was furious that I tore up the perfect little area of the backyard. But the tower garden, my tower garden story is kind of similar to Kristen and Nicole a little bit, that I kind of wanted to show my kids that food didn't come from the grocery store, right? It wasn't that we just go to the grocery store and it's just automatically there. It's growing, it's being grown in other places. And living in Fort Lauderdale, we had a tiny bit of land, not a lot, but I was trying to do a garden in about a 3-foot by 8-foot area and plant stuff. And I joke around that I had the healthiest rats ever because I never got to eat any of it. I would come out and you'd see like the tomato would be green, and then I'm like, just a couple more days, and then it would be gone. Something always ate it, or I forgot to water and it would be dead. So I remember I blamed my poor husband. I don't know if you guys, something goes wrong, and I blamed my poor husband, and I said, all right, build a shed, do something over this, because I'm so tired of trying to do a garden and it always fails. So the following year, one of the only reasons I have a tower garden probably for 8.5 years now is because I'm with the company Juice Plus, and they had the foresight to be able to know that this really is the future. This is the future of growing, right? Because we're running out of land, we're running out of water. And so when they came out with this and they introduced it at the conference, I was a little skeptical because I thought, oh my gosh, I've never been able to grow anything. But I ended up buying one, and I really tell people that the tower garden grows despite me. I mean, I have let it run out of water. I forget to put the minerals in. I, don't balance the pH, and look at the produce from my tower. So you see the seedlings there that we've grown. You can either purchase seedlings or I buy seedlings. And what I love is my metabolic reprogramming. So my taste buds have changed through the years because of Juice Plus, but also the tower garden. I didn't grow up eating kale and Swiss chard and things like that. I just love them now. My favorite is to saute all the Swiss chard off of there. And I grow lettuces and herbs and tomatoes and, oh my gosh, arugula, so many different things that you can grow. I just love it. And my daughter used to go off of there and just eat, pick off a cucumber and eat it, and pick off the tomatoes and just eat them. So that's what the great part is. You get to grow it organic. You get to grow it under your own terms, which I love. All right, so I am so excited. Oh, I'm sorry, I went too far. I am so excited to introduce my friend Jim, who has just gotten his tower garden.
Yes, and it's very exciting, and it's exciting to hear Nicole and Kristen, your stories and how it's changed things. And my wife and I have been like on this journey to being healthy over the past 3 years, and a lot of it is, and it's probably an understatement with you guys what said the cost. We definitely spend more than $12 a week on fresh produce, even for two people. And when you see all the challenges we have in our society today, with getting fresh fruits and vegetables, it just makes sense to have your own supply and you know where it's coming from. So, I was so excited that this picture, you may not be able to see it, but in the little third one up on the right there, you can start to see the seedlings popping out. We literally put this together on Saturday and we're already starting to see life. So we're so excited to get this started. And really it was the tower garden that got me interested in Juice Plus even more so first than the Juice Plus stuff, which is just a bonus because you're like, wow, I didn't know that there's a company out there that's actually trying to help people grow their own fruits and vegetables. Because, if you, like you said, you guys have had your towers for 8 years. I mean, that's a heck of an investment. I mean, you can't beat that. So just excited and even more motivated hearing the success that you guys have had. Because I would say, I don't think I'm a green thumb either, Nicole.
All right, excited to hear from Lillian, who has had her tower garden for what, probably 5 months, 4 or 5 months?
Yeah, about 4 or 5 months. I got it in April, so yeah, almost 6 months, I guess. But yeah. So I decided to start a tower garden because of quarantine. So I was like, well, maybe we should think of something else to do. And my husband and I ended up talking about it, and I said this will be fun. The kids are stuck at home. Kind of the same thing as, Karen said, that, it was something fun to do with the family. I wanted them to see that food came from the earth and not just from the grocery store. And we started. So I just bought one in April. I bought the Flex, the one that goes outside. And then my daughter helped me put it together. She loved it. And we had some sprouting, and that was in April. And then, no, we planted it May 1st. And then on that last picture you see in June, like a month later, I think it was like June 12th. I don't remember, but yeah, it was really full of all the produce started growing like crazy. So, that's my story. We love it. The girls love it. They're eating off of it. We just actually started over, and I eventually want to get a second garden, but we started over, and I'm getting more vegetables than just the leafy greens. I got some cucumbers, squash. So we're going to try those things, and peas, sweet peas, and the girls are really excited about it.
So you have to also share who else is going to be excited about the greens from your tower garden.
Oh, yes. So we also recently acquired a bearded dragon somehow. And she's gonna benefit from the tower garden. We planted like 3 rows of collard greens. That's her favorite. So we're gonna grow food for her too.
I love that. So yeah, the tower garden isn't just for people.
Exactly.
That's so funny. Thanks, Lillian. Okay, so one of the things I mentioned is, the reason that I own a tower garden is because it's part of the Juice Plus family. And we started with Juice Plus 16 years ago. And I started because I was pregnant. So Juice Plus, the company, first of all, their mission is to inspire healthy living around the world. And so I just love that. That's what they do. We have just a huge community of people trying to inspire healthy living. And they focus on whole food nutrition because as a society, we're eating enough animal protein. So we want to try and get more plants into our diet. And so the Tower Garden is one way to do it, right? We can grow our own. And then there's a lot of people who do both. They do the Tower Garden and the Juice Plus, but sometimes the Tower Garden isn't for, everybody. And then we have Juice Plus, which is fruits, veggies, and berries in a capsule and also in a gummy. It is the easiest way I have ever found to be able to bridge the gap between what we should be eating every single day and what most of us are eating. I don't know if you guys know, but kids are supposed to get 7 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. Women are supposed to get 9 and men are supposed to get 13. And I think the average is about 3. So, I mean, look at those beautiful capsules. To know that you're getting nutrition from 30 different fruits and veggies and berries and that, so easy. The middle picture is our plant-based protein. I don't know about you guys. I but years ago in my 20s, I actually had a personal trainer when I had some discretionary income before kids. And he told me I needed as much protein as possible. So I was drinking cheap shakes and they had whey protein in them, which is a really kind of inexpensive, processed ingredient. It's kind of a filler. And I used to get bloated. I didn't feel well. And one of the things I didn't know was just how that was affecting my body. And so when I started with the Juice Plus, they're plant-based, they're gluten-free, they're low glycemic, which means the fiber and the sugar are 1-to-1. So they're actually really great for diabetics as well. And the ingredients in them, it actually has a nutrition label. The ingredients in them are crazy. It's like alfalfa sprouts and pea protein and chickpeas and quinoa, and it's a food. It reads like a grocery list. So it just doesn't get any better than that, and they are delicious. And then I'm super excited about the omegas that came out a couple of years ago, because I've always been told we all need an omega-3. We all need an omega-3 for our head, our heart, inflammation. And I could never find one that I loved because they always gave me the fishy burps, right? You always hear people talk about that. These are plant-based, so there is no fish burps. We also save the fish. So I love that because we cut out the middle fish. This is actually, we grow our own algae. One of the things I never knew is that fish actually don't naturally have omega-3s. It is the fish eat the algae, and that's what gives them the omega-3. And our plant-based omegas actually are not just omega-3, but they are omega-3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. I didn't even know that there was healthy omega-6s and omega-9s because all I hear about is the bad in some of the oils. So really excited about all those products. And one of the other things that really caught my attention when I first learned about Juice Plus was the research, because I grew up, my mom was a nurse, and we took vitamins. We took a lot of vitamins, and we were taking a lot of isolated synthetic vitamins. And 99% of products out there do not have any research at all. And they certainly don't have clinical research and gold standard research, double-blind placebo-controlled research that we have. And we have research showing that it helps support a healthy immune system, reduces inflammation, protects your DNA, reduces oxidative stress. We have periodontal research. We have cardiovascular research. We have, it works in your body like fruits and vegetables, except it's in a pill. It's so easy. You don't want to not eat fruits and vegetables, but this is a great way to bridge the gap. So there's several different ways in our community to get healthier, and that's what I love, right? There's kind of a way for everybody to get started. And so we've talked about the Tower Garden. You can start to grow your own. You have control over your food source. I mean, every other month, I feel like on the news, they're talking about something, has got E. coli, and it's, you can't even find lettuce at the store. So you can start with the Tower Garden. There's also all the Juice Plus products between the capsules, the shakes. We actually have the bars, the omegas. And one of the things that I love about our company and our community is whether you are a customer or not, we are here to inspire healthy living around the world, just like what the mission statement of the company says. So we have a website called Healthy Living Revolutions where we have free cookbooks. There's free kids information on there. We have Facebook support groups. We actually are just at the end of a thing called the Shred 10, where you eliminate the bad habits in your life and you kind of focus on the good. And that's kind of a great way to do, focus on ourselves. And then we have live and online educational events like this one. We have doctors that speak. We have fitness professionals that speak. We have recorded webinars by these people. It's amazing resource. I'm always learning. So I just love it. We do also with the Juice Plus, one of the things I want to say is the free kids program. When you get started with the Juice Plus capsules or the gummies for an adult, you can actually sponsor a child between the ages of 4 through college, and they can get Juice Plus for free, which is amazing. So this picture I just thought was gorgeous, and I wanted to have it in there. I don't even know whose tower garden this is, but look at the squash and the zucchini and the stuff on the right, and look at the sunflowers on the left. It's beautiful. And then we have, I love this, I found this, gardening is cheaper than therapy, and you get tomatoes. So, I mean, why wouldn't you, right, want to start gardening? It is therapy. It is so much fun, and you get so much reward being able to feed your family. You know the source of it, and it's, you know, it's awesome. All right, so I'm going to stop the recording real quick, and then we're going to answer questions. Let me stop the live video too.